Mecha Talk is a series of videos where I discuss about mecha-related topics. For this video, we will be covering the origins and abilities of Mazinger Zero, easily one of the most powerful versions of Mazinger ever created. Before we begin, I would like to thank Philip from Kyodai for helping out with my research on Zero. This video would not have been possible if not for his assistance. Also, joining me in this video is Mark, also known as GaoGaiKingTheGreatVA. He is a long-time subscriber of my channel and a big fan of the mecha genre as well. On YouTube, he is famous for making entertaining voice acting videos, comic dubs, and abridged parodies.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Mark, GaoGaiKingTheGreatVA, and we're talking about mecha, right? Oh yeah! This is my kind of thing. Let's do this.
With that said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The long history of Mazinger can be traced back to 1972, the year that the legendary Go Nagai kickstarted the legacy of Mazinger Z with both a manga and an anime. Mazinger Z is a giant robot that is operated through the controls of the hover pilder. The pilder needs to be combined with the head of the Mazinger in order for the robot to be activated.
Mazinger was constructed using the extremely durable metal known as Super Alloy Z, and it is powered by photon energy, a powerful source of energy that is above the likes of nuclear energy. Both Super Alloy Z and photon energy are created from the element known as Japanium. Japanium was discovered by the genius known as Professor Juzo Kabuto. He would use the element as a basis to create Super Alloy Z and photon energy. Juzo would later use this knowledge to create Mazinger Z as a means to combat the evil Dr. Hell and his army of mechanical beasts.
Unfortunately, Juzo lost his life just as he had finished constructing Mazinger. Thankfully, Mazinger Z would be inherited and piloted by his grandson, the courageous and hot-blooded Koji Kabuto, who is the main character of the series. Together with his allies from the Photon Laboratory, Koji would wage a long war against Dr. Hell and his forces. Widely considered to be one of the forefathers of the mecha genre, Mazinger Z would set the standards for all mecha anime to follow. Throughout the next few decades, the story of Mazinger would get a number of sequels and reimaginings, but probably the darkest reimagining of the series would come in the form of the 2009 manga series Shin Mazinger Zero and its 2013 sequel Shin Mazinger Zero vs. the Great General of Darkness.
Mazinger Zero was written and illustrated by Yoshiaka Tabata and Yuki Yugo, the duo responsible for creating other dark and violent mangas such as Wolf Guy, Akumetsu, and Ninja Slayer. And like the rest of those series, Mazinger Zero is filled with incredible art, action, blood, violence, gore, and overall epicness. In addition, Mazinger Zero is full of various cameos and Easter eggs from previous Go Nagai works such as Devilman, Cutie Honey, and Kekko Kamen. If you're a fan of Go Nagai's work, oh man, you're gonna love this manga.
The story of Mazinger Zero began long ago when Professor Juzo was obsessed with creating the most powerful super robot known as Mazinger Z. However, Juzo could not finish the construction of Mazinger due to his old age. To compensate for this, Juzo created Minerva X, an android capable of going back in time. In the original series, Minerva X was a giant robot designed to be the partner of Mazinger Z. Unfortunately, her role was small and she didn't last more than one episode. While still designed to be Mazinger's partner, this version of Minerva has a much larger role and is basically the deuteragonist of the series.
Through her photon connectability, Minerva is able to communicate with technology, and similar to a photon accelerator, Minerva has the ability to send photon particles to the past. This allows Minerva to send her memories and the data she has collected back in time to another version of her in an alternate timeline.
This enabled Juzo to advance his research and complete Mazinger in just a single night. Juzo would then use Mazinger to conquer the world and kept sending Minerva back in time to further his research. With each journey back in time, both Minerva and Mazinger were upgraded and improved on. Eventually, Juzo caught the attention of Dr. Hell, and this would begin their bitter rivalry for many subsequent timelines.
Minerva eventually ends up in one timeline where Juzo is crazed and manages to create a version of Mazinger Z that could not be controlled. Mazinger Z eventually evolved into an unstoppable demon of destruction, capable of destroying the entire planet with ease. Its new name was Mazinger Zero.
Minerva would then spend nearly 3,000 cycles trying to prevent Mazinger from changing into Zero and destroying the world. Unfortunately, Minerva would fail in all her attempts, being forced to kill Koji in all of them in order to send his soul to another timeline. Eventually, Minerva arrives in one timeline where Koji and Mazinger are heroes protecting what's left of humanity from the forces of Dr. Hell.
Many familiar characters in this reimagining are more badass and fearsome than compared to their original counterparts from the 70s manga and anime. However, this version of Dr. Hell in particular is easily one of the most terrifying versions of the character ever created. He single-handedly infiltrated the White House, killed the president's bodyguards, and literally crushed the balls of the president. Using his staff of Bardos, Dr. Hell was able to control the world's technology and conquer the world in just 10 days, slaughtering over 5 billion people in the process.
Dr. Hell also modified his body to the point that unless his body is completely destroyed, it will regenerate from all wounds, making him virtually immortal. Dr. Hell is well versed in karate and even managed to fight and kill Koji in one-on-one combat during the climax of one of their previous battles. Thankfully, Koji managed to live on through a new cybernetic body, a clear homage to the technology of both Kotetsu Jig and Cutie Honey. With this new body, Koji would continue his fights against Dr. Hell.
While eventually successful in defeating Dr. Hell, the arrival of the Mecha Empire and the Great Mazinger would eventually lead to Zero's awakening, resulting in the destruction of the world yet again. Minerva is then forced to go back in time once again, and the cycle of Zero's awakening would repeat itself several more times until Koji finally finds a way to defeat Zero once and for all.
This version of Mazinger Z is similar to its previous incarnations in terms of appearance and attacks. From its eyes, the Mazinger is able to fire photon beams at its opponents. Through its mouth, Mazinger is capable of unleashing a powerful gust of wind that can cause enemies to rust and break down. By using the heat sinks on its chest, Mazinger is able to fire an extremely hot blast of heat, capable of melting most enemies.
The most iconic attack in Mazinger's arsenal is the Rocket to Punch, an attack where Mazinger launches its forearm at its opponents like a rocket. In addition, after performing a rocket punch, Mazinger can still fire a barrage of drill missiles at its opponents from the ports in its upper arms. Also, combining with the Jet Scrander grants Mazinger the ability to fly.
However, what separates this version of Mazinger from the rest of its previous incarnations is the 7 black boxes hidden within it. These boxes are part of the Mazin power circuit, and they allow Mazinger to tap into its Majin or Demon God powers, enabling it to become more powerful in battle. The concept of the 7 black boxes is similar to that of the 7 chakras in Mazin Saga. Both concepts draw inspiration largely from the 7 chakras in Hindu tradition.
During the final battle with Dr. Hell and the enormous Hell King Gordon, Mazinger Z activated 6 of the 7 boxes. The first of which grants Mazinger the power of regeneration, allowing it to repair itself in a matter of seconds. The second box grants the power of assimilation, which allows Mazinger to absorb energy attacks, converting it into energy for itself. The third box grants the strengthening ability, which helps to power up Mazinger's armor and reactor core.
The fourth box grants Mazinger the ability of prediction, allowing Mazinger to predict the probability of an event that is close to 100% based on the behavior of his enemies. This allows Mazinger to take the necessary actions to change any undesirable outcomes. The fifth box causes Mazinger to undergo a metamorphosis, allowing parts of his body to become stronger. This includes the Jet Scrander, which can now fire multiple blades at enemies. When combined with the strengthening ability, Mazinger is able to gain new powerful versions of the Rocket Punch, such as the Iron Cutter and the reinforced Rocket Punch.
In his final showdown with Dr. Hell, the 6th box was activated and it granted Mazinger reality manipulation abilities. With it, Koji and Mazinger are able to witness the events of parallel worlds and adapt to different situations. It also allows Koji and Mazinger to summon their alternate counterparts to aid them in battle. And by drawing on the thoughts and energy of the entire world, Mazinger was able to create and launch uncountable amounts of rocket punches at Dr. Hell, sending him into space. Mazinger and its alternate counterparts would then unleash the dynamic fire attack on Dr. Hell, ending his ambitions once and for all.
The 7th and final box is the most dangerous one, as it will incorporate the pilot into the Mazinger's frame while also combining the abilities of the previous boxes. This grants Mazinger the Majin or Demon Change ability, which allows Mazinger to transform into Zero. In its Zero form, Mazinger gains a more monstrous appearance, becomes sentient, and gains an enormous increase in power, to the point that it can easily destroy the planet with a single breath fire. However, both the pilot and Mazinger will be uncontrollable, and they will not stop until everything is destroyed.
Mazinger's transformation into Zero can be triggered by several factors, the first of which is the appearance of another Mazinger such as Great Mazinger. Zero desires to be the one and only super robot in existence, and will awaken to destroy any who challenges that desire. Great Mazinger was created by Kenzo Kabuto, the son of Juzo and the father of Koji. It was designed to be the successor of Mazinger Z, and it's piloted by Tetsuya Tsurugi. In its battle with Zero, Great Mazinger evolved into Great Mazinkaiser and was able to fight evenly with Zero despite the power of the black boxes. However, even with the help of the Great General of Darkness, Great Mazinkaiser was eventually overpowered and utterly destroyed by Zero.
The second factor will be the death of Sayaka Yumi, Koji's love interest. Upon her death, Koji would go mad with grief, causing him to go berserk, and this will in turn cause the activation of Zero. The third factor is when the Emperor of Darkness, or Dr. Hell to be more accurate, manages to combine with Mazinger. In one timeline, Dr. Hell became the Emperor of Darkness after being sent back in time during his final battle with Mazinger. As the Emperor of Darkness, Dr. Hell became the ruler of the Mikene Empire and planned for the day to get his revenge on Koji. After the Emperor of Darkness successfully hijacks Mazinger, Mazinger transforms into Zero and assumes his Jigoku or Hell mode. In this mode, Zero is much more vicious and capable of utilizing metal tentacles as weapons. In addition, it became so powerful to the point that it can slice off parts of the Earth and the Moon with just a single strike of his blade.
Zero has destroyed and consumed so many timelines to the point that it has become an entity of multiversal scale and magnitude, capable of influencing different realities. However, despite its power, Zero has one fatal weakness, and that weakness is Koji Kabuto.
Due to being affected by the effects of the changing timelines and realities, Koji can tap into the powers of Mazinger and grant himself Mazinger's speed, strength, and stamina when situations are dire. This ability also allows Koji to effectively control the reality manipulation black box within Mazinger. Koji would eventually use the reality manipulation black box to combine all alternate realities into a single universe in the hopes of stopping Zero.
This was Zero's ideal universe, a universe where Mazinger Z is an immensely popular media icon and the only mecha series in existence. In particular is the Mazinger anime, which has been running on TV for 40 years and with a whopping 2,500 episodes. Koji leads a normal life in this universe, but he eventually encounters Tetsuya. The world tries to erase Tetsuya, as his existence is a reminder that Mazinger was defeated by the hands of the Mikane Empire, and Great Mazinger had to exist because of that defeat.
Thankfully, Koji is able to save Tetsuya due to his strong connection with Mazinger, which grants him power over reality in this universe. Using the power of photon particles, Koji and Tetsuya are able to materialize and free themselves from within Zero. Together, they intend to defeat the embodiment of Zero and save all of reality. While their initial attacks were ineffective against Zero, Koji soon realizes the true power of photon particles. He uses the power of imagination from within Mazinger's photon engine to bring people's ideas of other giant robots to life. Every damaged and lifeless Mazinger within Zero is then transformed into various different giant robots that soon appear to aid Koji and Tetsuya in their fight.
Notable giant robots include the likes of Grandizer, Guitar Robo, Kotetsu-Jig, Raiden, Voltesu 5, Combat La Vie, the RX-78 Gundam, Zambot 3, Daitan 3, Daimos, Baldios, Ideon, the VF-1 Valkyus, a Scope Dog, Dragonar 1, Lasner, Orgus, Dan Kuga, Gunbuster, Ava 01, Raijin O, GaoGaiKing, Gren Lagan, Gypsy Danger, and many, many more.
With so many different giant robots and with more appearing every few seconds, Zero is unable to keep up and adapt to the situation. Using their combined strength, Koji, Tetsuya and every other giant robot in attendance unleashed a powerful attack known as the all-universal sure kill technique, Thunder Break and Photon Beam. With this final attack, Zero is overwhelmed. Zero warns Koji that if he is defeated, Mazinger will fall into obscurity and be forgotten. But Koji tells Zero that that won't happen, as the spirit of Mazinger will live on through different giant robots.
Realizing that all these new worlds and possibilities were all born from within him, Zero accepts his defeat. As Zero is destroyed, an event horizon occurs, and the multiverse is recreated, now with endless possibilities. And with that, the story of Mazinger Zero comes to its climactic end.
With that being said, we have come to the end of our video. We hope you have enjoyed this video as much as we had fun making it. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you like what I do, and do leave a comment giving some ideas or topic suggestions for future Mecha Talk videos.
And I'm GaoGaiKingTheGreatVA, an aspiring voice actor on YouTube and a Twitch streamer on the weekends. If you want to see more of my stuff, check out the links below. Thank you all for watching!